first of all, in terms of the revenue that's been raised, you hear $100 billion as the number touted by this administration, but that's all tariff revenue coming in. The United States had some tariffs before the 2025 tariff increases. So probably, the extra amount that we've raised so far because of the policy changes this year is more like 50 billion. And in our numbers at the Budget Lab, we think over 10 years, these tariffs so far would raise around $2.5 trillion, which is significant amounts of revenue. It doesn't cover the reconciliation bill that was just passed, the extension of the tax cuts. But look, $2.5 trillion is a significant amount of revenue over 10 years. In terms of who's ultimately going to pay that, the evidence is very clear on who pays it. It's some combination of American consumers and American businesses. Now, back in 2018, during the first Trump administration, the evidence is pretty clear that for a lot of products, such as washing machine tariffs that they levied, consumers bore the entire impact of those tariffs. Prices went up. Yeah. That's not necessarily the case for all tariffs. Businesses may eat some of the tariffs that are being levied, but that should be cold comfort for the American economy, because if businesses eat the tariffs in terms of lower profits, that means less hiring, less investment. We still feel that pain here in the economy, even if consumers don't see it directly.
The other thing, you mentioned Fed Chair Powell, right, who's under increasing pressure from the president. His statements recently suggest that he's very squarely focused on inflation going up, which implies that, look, he's not going to be in any hurry to get back to cutting rates, right, which is not the kind of thing you want to hear when you've got these tariffs going on, escalating and broadening and posing a risk to growth and the economy if the Fed is not going to be there.
Look, the best rationale for cutting rates right now would be if there were signs of labor market weakness in the United States. But it doesn't seem to be coming. We just had a jobs report that was healthy on the payroll side and where the unemployment rate actually ticked down to 4.1%. Meanwhile, we need to remember that core inflation in the United States is at 2.7%. So it's way down from where it was in 2022, but it's not at target yet. And the Fed, tries to look ahead, and they see a lot of upside risks, not just tariffs, but that's concerning them a lot. They see fiscal impulse from the tax bill that was just passed, hitting the economy next year. And they're worried about supply side constraints from greater immigration enforcement in this country. So, it's not a slam dunk case either way. The Fed has a very hard job right now, no doubt. I would hate to be in the Fed shoes, but the wait and see stance that they're taking, I think, is very defensible given all of the uncertainty out there.